Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and you may remember Forte and Ripple formed a $100 million fund for mainstream blockchain games a few years ago. What was that? Is there a date on here? I think it was 2020, or there it is, 2019. Well, yesterday, this video pops up. Ray Fuentes is interviewing Miguel Valles, who used to run XRP Markets. He's the guy that said he could see Ripple being a lender of last resort with the XRP. He pops up and he now works at Forte. Here's a little exchange. I just wanted you to watch a little bit of this.
Blockchain technologies and virtual assets, like you mentioned. What's next for the firm? And do you foresee that you'll be launching solutions like a wallet, or what's on the roadmap, if you don't mind me asking?
So I mean, I'll be careful not to divulge too much, or the powers that be may not be too heavy. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that we are trying to be, the home for AAA developers when it comes to blockchain video game development, and that requires a fulsome suite of products that are compliant. And AAA game development companies, they want to focus on the things that they do well, and the rest of the complexity they want sort of obfuscated and taken care of, and that's what we're trying to do. So it's challenging, obviously, because of the very nature of the technology and the ecosystem. It's also challenging because games take a long time, like really good games take a long time to develop, and as a result, it sometimes can feel a little bit like a grind, right? And
okay, it's interesting to see Miguel Valles is doing well. He is also, by the way, he's the one that said the goal of XRP is to have the liquidity of a G10 currency, and he also is the one that said that they had a simple goal at Ripple of making XRP a world reserve digital currency. Same guy. I like his optimism. Anyway, he's being interviewed by Link2. I don't see Forte on the platform right now, but usually when I see these interviews, you have to keep an eye out, because I don't know if that's why they were interviewing or not. But anyway, keep your eyes on the platform if you're interested in Forte. Check this out. My father, who's the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, sent me this yesterday. It doesn't have anything to do with crypto, other than maybe some of these billionaires are crypto billionaires, but I thought it was interesting to look at. I've never seen it visualized like this. The richest billionaires in the United States. So it shows you the richest billionaires in the United States. Look at my state. That's Truett Cathy. I think he's dead, but his I guess his son may be named Truett too. I don't know. They made their fortune off of Chick-fil-A. If you've never had a Chick-fil-A, come to Georgia. Now, Chick-fil-A's all over the country now, but used to, it was just kind of in the Southeast. Boy, get you it. My son, my 10-year-old, he demands Chick-fil-A quite often over McDonald's. So on Fridays, now a lot of times when on Friday, he makes me take him to get something. So usually his meal is a chicken biscuit, hash browns, and a small Coke. That's what he likes. Or chicken minis. He likes to get chicken minis, hash browns too. But anyway, let's look at this. Larry Ellison's down here in Hawaii. He bailed on California because of their taxes, I guess. He's in Hawaii. Now look at this. I found this interesting. Alaska, West Virginia, and Delaware are the only states without billionaires. I didn't know that. Elon Musk was tired of those California taxes and went to Texas. I'd love to join him there in Texas. I've always thought Texas would be a great place to live. Plus, that's where Cowboy Crypto, the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel, lives there. I see him doing videos I'm jealous of wherever he lives, because every morning he's doing videos and he's showing deer running across the pasture, and he looks like he's having a grand old time. He's on the tractor. I want to retire like the official cowboy of the Digital Asset Investor channel. Okay, Brad Garlinghouse is at token 20. I think crypto. I think Darren Moore made a mistake here. I think it's 20. No, maybe it's right. I don't know why I thought it was called token 2049. It's early, folks, and I'm only on number 1 cup of coffee. So watch this.
The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, and he's really just doubling down yet again on his reluctance perhaps to engage with the crypto community. We know that he's very bearish on the asset class in general. How do you deal with that when you're getting the same sort of response all the time from the SEC?
Look, I'll just start by saying I think it's super frustrating that you see markets like we have here in Singapore, certainly even what we're seeing in Hong Kong, the UK, Dubai, where the governments are partnering with the industry, and you're seeing leadership, you're providing clear rules, and you're seeing growth. And then, frankly, that's why Ripple is hiring there. 80% of our hiring this year will be outside the United States. My thoughts, I haven't watched the testimony from yesterday yet. I've read some of the coverage. And I guess my observation is one of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different outcome. Gary Gensler's a hammer and everything looks like a nail. Just saying people need to register does not mean that what the law says is that these are securities. In fact, what we now have seen, at least in the Ripple case, is the judge in our case very clearly, succinctly said XRP is not a security, period.
I want to pick up on that because, for people that aren't aware, so your native token XRP, the SEC had said that it was going against the securities law. The US court ruled in your favor. The SEC has now indicated that it could end up appealing that decision. So what was your reaction when that news came through?
Well, on one hand, it's frustrating. You have a government that has unlimited resources to keep fighting a fight they've already lost, but there's no recourse, and so
that's the problem, folks. There's no recourse. See, if Gary Gensler faced any consequences for acting in the best interest of someone other than Americans, if there were any consequences, Gary Gensler, you're talking about people that are cowards, folks. Only cowards would behave the way he knows. The entire world, the entire United States is against him. All America. He's got, just with XRP, he's got 75,000 plus people who are kicking and screaming. These are the people he's supposed to be protecting. That's the whole mission. To ignore that and to keep doing what he's doing. If he had repercussions, this coward wouldn't even think about doing this kind of stuff. These are bad people. These are not people that love this country. These are people that love themselves and the power that they've been given. They have mental problems from childhood that haven't been resolved. That's what these people are.
We've obviously spent well over $100 million already defending this case, and we are very optimistic. The judge has already said very clearly XRP is not a security. What they have asked permission from the courts to appeal isn't actually whether or not XRP is a security. That is still clear. It's more nuanced about whether or not in certain circumstances, if there's a transaction, there'd be an investment contract. So I don't know what the court will rule about whether or not they're even allowed to appeal right now. But I remain very optimistic because I think as you go up the appellate court system in the United States, you actually get more conservative. And that, I think, bodes well. And at the end of the day, I said this a long time ago, the facts are on our side and the law is on our side. And we'll continue to prevail in court because of that.
I'm interested when it comes to, because you just mentioned that the amount of hiring that you're doing, 80% of it is going to be outside of the US over the course of this year. When it comes to who is going to be the next crypto hub or define themselves as the global crypto hub, do you think that the door is permanently shut on the US being able to do that?
I wouldn't say it's permanently shut. It's definitely it's definitely a tough spot. The U.S. is still the largest economy in the world at 22% of global GDP, and so we will have a presidential election. There will be a change, or maybe there'll be a change. I don't know if Biden's definitely running. I don't comment on those things, but I think there'll be some shift as you see new administrations come in. I think eventually Congress will be frankly called to act. And I think the fact that the SEC continues to lose in court, there's another decision recently around a grayscale ETF conversion. And look, the judges are using really harsh language about the SEC. In the Grayscale case, the judge's ruling, there's an appellate court, a unanimous 3-judge panel saying that the SEC was being arbitrary and capricious. These are pretty harsh words for a government agency.
So in terms of your battle with the SEC, is this something that you think you would like to see reaching the Supreme Court, for instance?
Look, I would like closure, and I'd like to not have it, ongoing. I'm very optimistic. If the SEC wants to push this to Supreme Court, that'll be even a more final verdict that what Gary Gensler believes is not what the law says.
When it comes down to your profitability, because you're facing issues with regulators in the US, we've seen really thin trading volumes, very low liquidity in the space. How does that affect your profitability as a business?
Look, there's no question when crypto is going through its boom cycles that's a better thing for the whole industry. But Ripple I've been in the company 8.5 years, and every time we've gone through what are often called crypto winters, Ripple has grown. We're in a very strong position with a very strong balance sheet. As you mentioned earlier, we closed one acquisition earlier in the year. We have another pending acquisition right now. We're continuing to play offense in a whole bunch of different ways, and we're growing the business. We're growing our customers. We're growing our product suite. We believe that our customers are coming to us really seeking for us to be the infrastructure provider around blockchain and crypto technologies. And we started with payments. Now we're in custody. We'll continue to expand beyond that.
When it comes to that acquisition,
They're becoming the Amazon of crypto, folks.
it's pending, that's Fortress Trust,
Yes.
And it's a crypto custodian. Overnight, we understood that the CEO of Fortress Trust said that hackers had taken some money. I understand that Ripple has made those customers whole. But do you think that, firstly, all of the issues around the space have been ironed out, or they're being ironed out in terms of the vulnerability for security? And has enough trust really been regained by users of these products to spark some sort of movement back into the space in a meaningful way?
Yeah. I think it's an important thing to talk about. This particular compromise was about an end user compromise, a tool that certain customers were using to access their crypto got compromised. And frankly, that was through, as I understand it, kind of a spear phishing attack, which frankly, it affects crypto, it affects traditional banking, it affects securities. It's super frustrating when those things happen, and I think the whole industry needs to continue. I mean, the whole industry, not just crypto, I mean the financial services industry, because if the end user's accounts and credentials are compromised, there's always going to be risk, whether it's crypto or something else. But look, to your macro point in this, Ripple felt it was important to build trust with Fortress Trust, and we made those customers whole. That business has really done well, and I think are doing a great job of serving their customers, and we're glad to be able to support it and bring it into the Ripple fold.
On the regulatory front, because we have seen a lot of progress in other jurisdictions outside of the US, across Europe, the UK, Middle East, here in Asia, some of those frameworks are quite narrow in the way that they look at crypto. Do you think that also can be a challenge in the sense that, yes, you do have regulatory clarity, but sometimes the regulations are quite strict, and so it's also difficult to operate in those sorts of environments as well?
That is not something that keeps me up at night. Ripple received here in Singapore an in-principle approval for our major payments institution licensing. We've applied for licensing something called VARA in Dubai. The strictness doesn't bother me. It's the lack of clarity. If I know, and I think this is true for the whole industry, not just Ripple. Ripple has always tried to lean into regulatory, engaging regulators and being a good actor. It's when it's not clear what being a good actor looks like that it makes it hard. We're willing and happy to invest, even if it's strict. That's fine. What it doesn't work is, frankly, what the United States and Gary Gensler continues to propagate. Confusion masquerades as power to the SEC. The more confusion, the more power they feel they have.
Yep, it's confusion by design. Sometimes I wonder why Brad Garlinghouse would want to. He's got to be sick and tired of it. He's traveled. He'll show up in Singapore, then he'll be somewhere else. But then I think about this. And the truth is that if he and Chris Larson and those guys pull this off, they could very well be replacing Larry Page right there. So I'd probably not mind traveling either. Check this out. This was an interesting tweet. Eleanor Terrett yesterday when Gary Gensler was in front of Congress. She said, spotted the Prometheum's lobbyist William Owen sitting behind Gensler in today's Senate banking hearing. He's probably making sure that Gary doesn't get out of line is probably what was going on. Then John Deaton says, On behalf of 75,000 XRP holders and 3,000 Coinbase customers, I object. I object to the word honorable being used to describe anything to do with Gary Gensler. Stuart ElDoradi was a little on the warpath yesterday. Mr. Huber had posted this about Bill Hinman. He says, Bill Hinman just got promoted from special advisor to Andreessen Horowitz, a new advisory partner. And he was giving Bill Hinman a congratulations, and Stuart ElDoradi was not having it. He says, what is it? April Fool's Day? Shouldn't this read, while a public servant at the SEC, he collected $15 million from his old firm, ignoring the law, and created even greater confusion for the crypto industry. Check this out. I wanted to show you, wait, Stuart ElDoradi weighed in again. Hold on. Bert, I just wanted to show you, this is the CEO of BitGo, and he's weighing in on the whole Fortress Trust thing. Just wanted to show you this part. Ripple has done the right thing and disclosed that a breach did occur. Wait a minute, what did he say? I think it's down here. Here it is. After the breach, Fortress reached out to BitGo. BitGo strongly advised Fortress to disclose what happened immediately. Fortress did not do that. Eventually, Fortress decided to sell to Ripple. This is a great outcome because Ripple was able to make all clients whole and will hopefully help Fortress with resources to correct the security weaknesses which led to this event. Ripple is a good actor here and should be applauded. And then Stuart ElDoradi, we'll let him close it out. He says he's joining Brad Garlinghouse on stage at Mainnet 2023. That's Masari's thing, Ryan Selkis's thing. He says, get your popcorn ready. See, this is my prediction, folks. I don't predict that Ripple makes any kind of major announcement at the proper party. I think they make a major announcement at this because it's the week before the proper party. This is where I think they make a major announcement. So grab your popcorn. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family to grab their popcorn too. Thanks for listening.